Hello, and welcome to another episode of In My Experience with yours truly, Christine DeGinto. This podcast is a space where I speak from lived experience. The moments that shaped me, challenged me, and changed the way that I understand myself in the world. The awakenings, the breakdowns, the moments that cracked me open, asked me to stay present, be embodied, and be honest with myself. I share my stories not to persuade or define truth for anyone else, but to offer perspective, to explore the gray areas we don't often have language for, to slow things down and listen more closely to what's happening beneath the surface. You'll hear solo episodes where I reflect on my own initiations, spiritual gifts, and the systems that tried to define me. And conversations with guests who have walked strange, beautiful, and sometimes painful paths of their own and come back with wisdom to share with us. I invite you to take what resonates, leave the rest, and trust your own experience as valid. Thank you for being here. This is In My Experience. Welcome back. I'm Christine DeGinto, and today I'm honored to be joined by Mandy Hayes. Mandy is a soul alignment and spiritual life coach, an artist, and mother of 3 boys. She owns Lemon Sage and Lavender, where she works in her devotion to helping people remember who they are beneath conditioning and old patterns. She weaves together tarot and aura readings, energy work like Reiki, QHHT, and Akashic-style readings, as well as massage therapy, as pathways back to our original blueprint. In this conversation, Mandy and I recognize a lot of familiar language in each other. We follow the threads that light up when 2 people start comparing notes on expanded perception and lived spiritual experience. Here are some of the places we travel together in this episode: Lemuria and ancient memory, star seeds and soul origins, seeing and sensing auras, clairvoyant perception, and biolocation of consciousness. As always, listen for whatever resonates and let the rest move on by. Let's get into it with Mandy. Oh my goodness. Thank you everyone for joining us today. I just wanted to introduce our guest, Mandy Hayes, a beautiful mother of 3 boys, an artist, a healer, and one who walks in her purpose as someone who helps others help themselves, which I so appreciate. We were just talking a little bit before we pressed record, and I am so sad that I didn't have it started. What a tremendous ordeal that you have been going through just recently, and you're carrying it with such grace and gratitude, and I just find that unbelievable. I'm going to give you some time to introduce yourself, Mandy, and then we can get more into our conversation.
Oh, for sure. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Um, I'm Mandy. I am the owner of Lemon Sage and Lavender in downtown Lapeer. Um, that place is one of my many babies where I do tarot readings. They're more like auric tarot readings because of like tap into your energy field and receive information that way first and then go into a tarot reading, right? Um,
Yeah.
QHHT, Reiki sessions, massage, soul realignment sessions, they all kind of come to the same conclusion that I found is, finding out who you are. Who are you? Like beneath all of the mess and negative programming, the repetitive thought patterns, beneath
Mm.
all of this stuff, like your original divine blueprint, right? And so
Amen.
it's
Amen.
just so much fun because you can go into any of the modalities and it's like I was thinking about this yesterday. It's like a path and, there's all these different, branches that you can go off of, but they all connect to the same truth,
Yes.
right?
Yes, absolutely. And I
Yeah.
100% agree. In my practice, I have felt very drawn to the Akashic records. past life regression therapy. And then also, while doing those two or one, holographic matrix repatterning is what it has been coined, right? That's what we
Yeah.
call it. I'm not trained in QHHT, but I've considered it because it is the most widely known, and I adore Dolores Cannon and all of the books and transcripts and audio from her sessions. It's just absolutely fascinating. I find
Yeah.
it endlessly entertaining, as I've described before, this journey of discovering ourselves and who we really are and what this reality is and
Mhm.
what it's powered by, which is us and our energy and intention. So it's just so incredible.
It is that when you figure that out, when that like last little spot falls into place, because you could hear the same thing a million
Hmm.
times, but
Hmm.
it will be that 1 millionth time where you hear it and it's like, oh my God. Yes. Like I literally do create my own reality. Crazy. It's an
Yes.
amazing ride.
When it clicks in fast and hard.
Hmm.
It's incredible. Mandy, I wanted to mention also the book that you published. I was so moved by that when you shared it with me. I so appreciate having the types of conversations we're having here now about how important it is to find out who you are and what your purpose is and your blueprint and your potential and expand on that. As mothers, we apply that also to our children and their lives and potential. And um, you wrote a children's book expressing, you know, the spiritual aspects of life, and I just so appreciate that. Can you talk a little bit more about it?
Thank you. Yes. Oh my goodness. So, oh, love filled. It was, well, it is kind of based off of my oldest son. And when he was younger, I was a young mom, as we were talking about earlier. And, you know, his dad was coming from a very wounded place. I was coming from a very wounded place. The relationship, there was like a deep love there because we were kids,
Mhm.
but it was covered up by so much drama and heavy stuff. So, like, I know that even from the very beginning, Christopher was absorbing all of this energy, just this heavy, dense stuff, right?
It
So,
sounds like a karmic relationship and a karmic incarnation of your son to help
yeah,
to that's what I'm receiving very clearly as
I
you speak.
got
I'm
chills
seeing a
on my
lot right
leg.
now. So yeah, I just
That's
yeah,
amazing.
yeah.
Oh my goodness. So, that was so funny. So, he had a very difficult childhood. And of course, when he became a teenager in the very beginning, it was just like, it was so bad. It was so bad. Poor guy. I don't want to speak too much on his behalf because, he's his own person and.
Yeah.
But anyways, that was the inspiration for the book, and it was crazy because I wasn't even planning a children's book. I swear, you could be doing the dishes, you could be going pee. I was in the bathroom at the time, and there was just this idea popped in my head, and I'm like, oh, that's
Yes.
cool, okay. But then I like kind of dismissed it, washing my hands. Oh, it pops in again. I'm like,
Hmm.
I get it, cool. Um, but it wasn't until like I came in the living room and I remember sitting down and I like accepted the idea and I'm like, okay, we'll dive in here. What's going on? And then it was just like sentence after sentence after sentence.
Yep.
And it was all in rhyme. And I'm like, this is the coolest thing that's ever happened to me. So I'm
That's amazing.
sitting there writing it all down and I'm like, this is a freaking book. This is a book. That is so crazy. Um, So yeah, it's been my baby. I know that the message is really relevant for
Hmm.
today's society, and
Yes.
I just feel like it's really important when parents are reading it to their kids or grandparents or aunts and uncles.
Yes.
It's awesome because it is also a reminder for us, not just for kids.
Absolutely. I mean, I know I teared up when I was reading it because it's just I could I was, when I read, I can hear that voice in my head as well. I think that that's normal. Maybe it's not. Apparently, a lot of things that have been happening my entire life that I thought everyone could do aren't
Mhm.
normal. So I don't
Yeah.
know. But so I hear this voice and it's like I could hear it as if someone were reading it to me as a child. I was reading it to my daughter as a mother, and I was reading also from the perspective of other people in a different frame of mind. And I could see all the illuminated um, spaces where the sparks were coming. And those, when that happens, when you see those little sparks and they're so close together, it really helps to create the charge where they magnetize and it expands and continue. Like that's how I see it. And
Ooh,
that's what I was experiencing when I was reading it. So yeah.
I love that so much.
Yeah,
Thank you for sharing that with me.
absolutely.
Oh, I'm excited to see, um, I don't know, like just I want to say to see what comes of it. However, as like my mind is going a million miles a second, um, as I was saying that, I was also thinking like, okay, well, this is obviously divinely inspired. This was something that was downloaded or,
Hmm.
whatever word you want to put on it. So it would be interesting to see how many people it reaches because of that. You know what
Oh,
I mean?
absolutely. Yes, yes.
And like
It
an
was, it
experiment.
seemed very persistent. It was a persistent knowing that came into creation because you gave it the space. And I think that's where the magic happens
Oh,
for all of us. And
absolutely. Yes.
it's what a blessing it would be if we could all like slow down just a little bit. Like you said, like you were going pee, then you're washing your hands. You're a mom, you're busy, you work, you do all this stuff. So I understand completely. And that happens to me frequently as well. I don't get ideas to create things. I get ideas to understand things and I get information.
Yeah.
Um, and I'll get like visions. And then sometimes I was talking with Amy Belair about this one time. And I was like, sometimes I'll just be doing the dishes, but I'm imagining that I'm in the Amazon and I'm grounding and I'm connected with the rainforest and I'm breathing with the earth. And I'm like, locked in. And I'm like, and tell me that I'm not because I see it. It's like double vision. Like I'm there
Yeah.
and I'm here. And she's like, you probably are. So-
See, but that is so incredibly beautiful because like, I'm a very visual person. I can see movement, I can experience touch, heat, all the things like in my mind's eye. You know what I mean? Obviously, you know
Mhm.
what I mean. But I, for whatever reason, I will daydream till the cows come home about the most random, not even important things or stuff
Mhm.
that like gets me like I try
Looping,
to
the
yeah,
looping.
and
Hmm.
I've been really really working on that a lot lately, especially since, the accident and I've been sitting here in bed or on the
Oh,
couch.
goodness.
But I want to practice that, what you are doing, way more and use that imagination, that, ADHD mind to my advantage. That's
Absolutely.
beautiful.
Yes. And that I struggle sometimes too with the looping, and it has been coming out. I've been unraveling something that I have known about for years, but I have not dove into because it's just so, it's very complex, but having to do with being biolocated and having my consciousness existing in another body that is working, but we're connected in space, essentially. So a lot of times people have said, you're ungrounded. And I'm like, offended. I'm like offended because I'm like, I am Mother Earth herself. I
Right.
am like very calm and rational. And I sit, I walk around barefoot outside, I breathe, I sage, I do all the things. I don't know why you're saying I'm ungrounded, right? I try very hard and I feel like I'm a bad girl, like I'm doing something wrong. Like, oh, you're ungrounded. Like it's like wrong, right?
Right.
It's not. It's just a It's a place. It's a place where your consciousness is. But then what I have become aware of just recently is sensual embodiment does not necessarily relate to sex as much as it does being embodied in your body and
Mhm.
experiencing your senses fully, all the way in your body. Um, so that has been an interesting revelation for me.
So that's really incredible. I am bilocated as well. And
Wow.
so as you're talking, I'm like, ooh, I get it. I get it.
Yes.
Because for the longest time, like, I meditate, I do yoga, I stretch, I do, all of the things. But I found that it was eating heavy food
Hmm.
and drinking like wine or something would put me right back in my body and like ground
Hmm.
me. But it was it's not healthy, obviously. So it's a wild, like trying to find that one thing that's like healthy that can keep you grounded, that's more than I don't know.
You know,
Meditation is not like
what if it's our thoughts? Like, because I totally understand and agree all
Mhm.
the things, like I was saying before, I do all the things to be grounded. And why is it so difficult or unsuccessful? Because it's based on our lightning fast connectivity with that other version of our consciousness being biolocated. We're going through different dimensions constantly, and it's very ungrounding. So like our body, we need to rely on our bodies to help us as we transmit through those different frequencies. But I think that we have more control. And it's almost like I'm telling this to myself. I'm just realizing this now too. We have more control based on our thoughts and our emotions. So when we get those loops, sometimes I think it's intentional. And I do believe that there is frequency manipulation in
Oh,
the
for
sense
sure.
that it affects the way that you think and feel. And I
Mhm.
think that that is widespread, but it's also specifically directed at people who have those known um, components and are on the lists, as you would say, they like
I
are
love you.
targeted. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I got you, girl.
So it's like being aware of that and centering in your heart. Like our hearts are the key to all of it. It's like right in the middle. All of it makes sense. It's balanced, it's open, and it's um if we can shift the thoughts to the heart and feel that peace frequency around us, like we could probably glide much more easily and be less affected. You know what I mean? It'd be like a membrane.
Yeah.
uh
No,
so
I love that so much. It's funny because I feel like it's either been something that's changed with me in like the practice, because it's like I'm seeing it through my eyes, obviously. So it's coming through my own filter, or if something is changing with the collective, which we know that it is, I guess it really doesn't matter, but um in the last like month or so, whenever I'm doing a Reiki session on someone, like at the very beginning of the session, I stand at their star chakra and just kind of look at their energy field as a whole. What colors are showing up, what the movement's like, any obstruction, blah, blah, blah. And I do it at the very end as well. So lately, when I'm looking at people's energy fields towards the very end, it looks like a beautiful, constantly moving mandala of different colors. And
that's
I've never
amazing.
seen that before up until like this past month. So I'm just
Yeah.
wondering how you were talking about, like feeling and seeing from your heart, and it expanding outward. if like we're all starting to work from our heart more. Do you see
Oh,
what?
yeah. We've been blasted by so many solar flares. We've definitely been upgraded recently. I feel like there was a lot of activity toward the end of the year, like right,
Yeah,
and there's so much going on and there's a lot of clearing happening. Uh yeah, it's it's popping off.
very true. That is very true.
Yeah.
I hear 2026 is going to be, you know, like kind of the very beginning steps of a whole brand new era. So there's a lot of change and shift that's going to be happening this year, which is going to make things crazy, but worth it. And
Yeah.
2027 is like the year.
I believe it. I feel
Yeah.
it. I feel it in my bones all the way. So, yeah.
It's
Oh
very
my
exciting.
goodness. Uh, Mandy, would you like to talk about, we were talking before I pressed record. Would you like to share about what happened on Monday or not?
Oh, yeah, sure. That's okay.
Okay. Okay.
So life is crazy and you never know what's going to happen, right?
Yeah.
So I have three boys. And Monday I went to work. I went grocery shopping. I went and picked up my one son from basketball, my other two from their grandparents' house. My oldest son, he finished driver's training, the first one. He's in that in-between stage where, he has to practice driving and stuff before he can take the second class. And so, we live in Michigan. It's winter outside, but nothing was crazy. He asked to drive, and I told him, yeah. Well, because I was at work all day, I put all of my stuff in the front passenger seat. So there were paintings in the front passenger seat, my backpack, laptop, a bag of clothes, I think, on the floor. And I didn't feel like taking all of it and throwing it in the back seat with my other boys, so I just left it there and I sat in the back seat. Our house is probably like 8 minutes away from his grandparents. I never, ever, ever sit in the back seat while Christopher is driving, just so I can be right there to, help with the wheel or something. But that day I did. We got literally 2 minutes away from the house. We were on M15, had to turn left to go on to Arvila, and then our house was like right there. We're on M15, I pull out my phone, so I was looking up signing him up for segment two, driver's training, which is just such like a wow kind of thing. So I'm looking down at my phone, looking up the dates. I feel the car turning. And then I hear Christopher say, "Oh my God." And we got hit. The car rolled. We are in a Jeep Grand Cherokee and they are really, really good for safety features. Um, I opened up my eyes to airbags and uh, smoke and just windows and coats everywhere. I couldn't really see. I was the only one in the car not wearing a seatbelt. Um, Yeah, I saw smoke everywhere and I freaked out. I'd never been in an accident before. And so I'm telling the kids, like I'm calling all their names, making sure they're all responding to me. And I'm like, we got to get out of here. And we're trying to move, but we're all, on top of each other and there's just windows everywhere. Finally, my middle child, he kicks the door open. There's some guys who live down the street that were like right there. They came running out to help us. Oh, I can't wait till I can like move. I'm gonna go and give them the biggest hugs.
Oh,
Um, so my son Nicholas got out. My 6-year-old Case, he was hanging above me in his car. His seatbelt was strapping him to the ceiling. Um, he was crying, the guys helped unbuckle him, get him out. Uh, I had to get pulled out because I couldn't move my left leg. And I'm calling for Christopher, and I'm calling because I thought that he was the first to get out because his voice sounded so distant, you know.
Mhm.
Um, but he was in the car, and I'm calling for him, and thank God he just like shimmied out from between the airbags and came walking out of the car. He was stuck in his seatbelt too, and they all they all were just walking around the car, making sure the people in the other car were okay. They
Mm,
were totally fine. My youngest, he had some bruising and redness from the seatbelt. So he got checked out and stuff, but he was okay, thank God. And yeah, the craziest things, like the fact that I never sit in the back seat, and I did that day, and the only part of the Jeep that got hit was the passenger door.
mhm.
That, you know, and like Nicholas, he got whipped around a lot. If I wasn't sitting on the outside in the back, behind the passenger seat, he would have knocked his head right on the glass,
Uh,
because me and him smashed heads. So that's how I knew he was coming in
yeah.
this direction. I was going in that direction. Um,
Oh.
just so many things.
Mm,
And yeah, I had a really tough lesson the last few months about learning how to surrender and like let go emotionally with so many things. Um, so many things. That was like the takeaway from all of that craziness. And now I feel, for me, because I'm such a go, 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 gotta do this, gotta fix this, 20 sticks in the fire at once. This is like a physical surrender because I literally can't
mhm, mhm.
go places. Like, can't really do anything right now. So just healing.
Oh. And what were your injuries? I want to hear them again so I can envision them and send extra healing.
Oh, thank you.
Yes.
I have some bruised ribs, three fractures on my pelvis, and a broken sacrum.
Oh,
My left side. Yeah.
dang. Well,
But
we will all be sending you lots of healing to recover very quickly.
thank you. I
Yes. Yes.
appreciate that.
I'm so sorry that happened, but I know we were talking earlier, and it's so sometimes strange to word it this way, but I'm getting better at it because everyone always understands after it comes out of my mouth. But when I'm getting ready for it, it's like, oh, well, I'm glad that it happened that way about your accident. And it's like, no, I mean, like ideal situation, the
Mm.
ideal conditions happened. And we were joking a little bit. Mandy and I both agreed. I'm like, unfortunately, like if someone was going to get hurt, I know that you would want it to be you rather than any of your children. So in that case as well, it's like best scenario. But like we don't want that in the first place. But you know,
If it was
it's
gonna happen, I would
it's
take it any day of the week. Right.
it's I find it amazing and uh and I'm struggling to find the words right now, but the way that I feel when it's like you're receiving bad news, but you still are able to be like, well, I'm glad that that at least was safe and like this, like you're hearing like all the bad things, you're like, but that's a good thing. Okay,
Right.
good. Good thing. Okay, there's a good thing. All right. Overall, I'm so sorry this happened, but overall, all the good things happened that could have been. So I'm just so
Right.
thankful for that. I'm glad that you're all safe and alive. And yes, thank you for
Thank you.
sharing that as well.
Yeah. Thank you for listening and being here and being your awesome self.
Oh, thank you.
You're
Uh,
welcome. Oh, it's really crazy. Have you ever seen the movie The Cabin?
who's in it? I don't think so,
Oh,
but
you or no, The Shack. It's The Cabin or The Shack. I don't remember, but whatever. I'll find it and then I'll like send it to you through email or something. It's
yeah.
incredible. And I'm not gonna give away the like the ending or whatever, but in it, this guy he loses his daughter. She dies in a very really sad way. And so he's angry with God. He is so angry
Mm,
with God. and he goes to this cabin to like essentially to kill himself. But I just got chills on my legs. It doesn't happen. He ends up meeting God.
Mm.
And, it's one of the best movies ever. But the point of me bringing this up was that he was like, why would you let this happen to me? Why would you take away such a beautiful little tiny light in the world? She was loved so much and my life is ruined and blah, blah, blah. And God said, I didn't do that. I, helped you in this way. I don't create car crashes. I do, interventions to make sure that like no one gets hurt. Like I don't
Hmm.
cause the bad thing. I do what I can to make the bad thing better. So
Yeah.
when you were just talking about that, that's what that reminded me of.
Yeah. I think that's so true. Also, it's like computers are accurate, but I mean, like, they're man-made. And when you're talking about the universe and like literal from chaos to like order from matter in the universe that exists, I mean, how things work, it's just really wild. Like, how is it possible that like other planets get pummeled by meteorites, and we are fairly safe? Go, well, we have this atmosphere. Okay. Like that's convenient. Like
Right.
it's just funny. It's just neat to think about things in different ways. Like, because I enjoy science.
Mhm.
Um, Fascinating. But I also am like, yeah, but like how? Like where? Why? Like what? It's just so funny to think about all the other ways that things could exist.
Absolutely, 100%. And you know what's crazy? So I've came up with this theory, right? And you can tell me what you think about it. But how, like, for example, I was listening to Sarah Bressman Cosme, her
Hmm.
books, right? A Hypnotist Journey to Atlantis and From the Trail to the Star People. And in there, when she's talking about this particular way that Lemurian culture was, from, the perspectives of all of these different people under hypnosis. Well, in one of Dolores Cannon's books, I think it was Dolores Cannon, it might have been somebody else. But anyways, what they were talking about with the Lemurian culture was like kind of parallel, but there were some pretty big differences. And so it got me thinking, like, well, if they're contradicting each other, but these are from people's subconscious, and obviously it's true things because they match up with so many other people's, it can't,
Hmm.
there's no way that's a coincidence, right? So I'm
Hmm.
thinking, like, well, what if at that time period, person A was on a different timeline than person B? So their
Hmm.
truth really is the truth to them because that was
Hmm.
the life that they had lived. But,
Hmm.
after lifetimes and lifetimes of shifting different realities, here we both are. They both have
Yeah.
different soul perspectives.
And it's like that. I've seen images before where they're like, the truth depends on where you stand. And it's like a circle from above, it looks like this. And then it's like a spiral. And then from the side, it looks like three lines. Like, you know what I mean? And it's like like the truth depends on like how you look at it. Like,
Mhm.
what is the truth? The truth we'll never know. But there
Right.
is a truth that exists that we do know and we have always known. We just don't know right now. And the part of the fun of being here is fucking around and finding out.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just imagining and feeling and contemplating and existing in. It's so fun. I love life. I just love life. Uh,
Absolutely. I'm
yeah.
right there with you.
It's interesting that you brought up Sarah Bressman Cosme because I think it was yesterday I saw, and I think I may have shared it on my story, or no, I commented on it. Um, it was a recording of one of her sessions, and the woman was channeling, or she was speaking, from her subconscious, and describing when, basically, Sarah's question was, when will love reveal the individuals that are like separating us from truth, essentially? And she was like, as soon as people stop judging, comparing, seeing race, sex, and age in each other, and when love can be given freely and openly without prejudice, like it's like that's when we're all gonna like remember and realize like, oh, we're magic and we're supposed to be here to create this beautiful world. And I believe, not I believe, I know that I was in Lemuria. That was one of my first incarnations, and I have um, become aware of different codes that I carry in my blueprint from that. And I think that is for a reason. So I trust.
Absolutely. And I love that so much. It's it's so beautiful because there's at this current time in my physical reality, there are only like a very small handful of people that I can speak to in like the language that you're talking right now. And
Hmm.
just like, ooh, I love it. I love it so
Yes.
much. Um,
Yes. It's funny, we have a lot of similarities. Just in talking before we press record, we were talking about we both had children at a young age. Mandy was 18 when she had her son, and I was 17 when I had my son. The different relationship with her son's dad and dynamics, very similar over here. We're both biolocated, we're both from Lemuria. I mean, obviously, we're together for a reason right now. So
yeah.
here we go.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's amazing. And so over the course of like the last 2 years, I've been hearing very often from multiple different people that a lot of people who lived in Lemuria and Atlantis at the time of its destruction are reincarnated here now,
Mhm.
along with all of the people who were like, you know, when
Who brought it
Jesus,
down?
what?
The people who brought it down, the people who let in the archons.
Yeah. And at the time of Jesus, I always feel really weird when I say it in that way, but I don't know any other way to say it. Um,
Yeah, yeah,
when
I get
Jesus,
you.
was doing his
Yes.
thing,
Hmm.
a lot of people who are around at that time as well are reincarnated here now. And it
Hmm.
just obviously no coincidences, but it's just wild when you have, multiple people, but like two people who are like on their way to remembering, and just the conversation is like, oh yes, but wait, oh, but I have something to add. Oh, this is amazing. Yeah. Thank you.
That's sort of like I was saying earlier, those activation points, the
Yeah.
sparks that we carry, those codes that we all carry in our blueprint, in our body, in our aura. And then when we are in proximity or in connection with each other, they illuminate,
Yeah.
they connect, and then they send it.
I love that so
Yeah.
much. That's so beautiful. Oh, like I can see it now.
So Mandy and I were in the same container together, but we didn't ever actually talk directly before. I
Mm-mm.
mean, I would hear you share, and me, I shared sometimes. I usually have my camera off. I'm so ADHD. I cannot sit still, and I feel like, well, I sit still pretty well for this. Obviously, I'm Italian too. You ever see me use my hand? But yeah, I'm all over the place usually when we have classes and stuff, but I love to listen and I am absorbing it. And I feel like a lot of the time it's best for me to like when we would all go into the Akashic records together, I basically didn't. Like I would be driving, I'd be doing whatever, but I would be like connected to the field with all of you as well, but not actually like doing anything. But then when later things would drop in when it was ready, because I would say that's another thing with the downloads that we receive.
Mhm.
We can ask for them to come later. We can say, you know what? I actually am at capacity. Please come back at this time because I can't. Yeah.
Yeah, try that. Be more direct with,
Yeah.
you know, that's amazing.
Instead of them just being like, receive this. And we're like, oh, but I
I
have
don't
to.
know the
Yeah,
plan.
right. I appreciate it though. We still receive it, but yeah, there's countless revelations have been lost in the depths of my mind while vacuuming, taking a shower.
Yes,
Oh,
absolutely. Oh, I feel that. And oh my goodness, life is so crazy because sometimes it's like on demand, I want to say, as you know. Like for example, I remember it was a few years ago. Like so I see like like static everywhere. Is it
yes, same.
oh, you
That's
too?
what, yes,
Oh my
that's
God,
one of
thank
the
you.
things that I was thinking about, like that I have experienced my entire life, but I thought everyone did too. Like I didn't know that that was not normal, but it's what's that called? Like snow vision, or what do they call that?
I didn't even
Snow,
know. I've been searching
visual snow. Um,
visual snow.
the only other person I've ever heard talk about it as detailed as I understand it is um, Dana the Alien on Instagram. At
Oh,
Dana the Alien. She's amazing. You would love her. Follow her. But she
great.
has a video talking about that visual snow and that it's actually clairvoyance. Yeah, yeah, clairvoyance.
Okay, so that is incredibly mind-blowing. I had no freaking idea. And actually, it was 2 years ago when I had asked Amy. Um, it was like my first reading with her ever, and I'm telling her about what I'm experiencing and blah blah blah. And she's like, "Well, yeah, it is a part of clairvoyance, but the whole reason why you're experiencing it is because that you are bilocated to the Pleiades, so your spectrum of vision is wider than, a lot of other people's."
Yeah.
Oh my God, I love you. That is so freaking
Yee.
cool. But I've been searching my whole life for other people who see what I see, and that's just
That
so
is amazing. We're probably soul sisters. I feel
true.
it. It's so
Yeah.
fun. I love connecting with other people who experience things like that. And often I'll get like especially at night or when it's dark. I mean, like it happens when it's light out too, but
Mhm.
especially when it's dark, I'll see like flashes of light, like in like random, like, and I'm like, oh, hello.
Oh, hello.
You know?
Oh, I love it so much. Um, there is this a lot of times that I've been out on my back deck, like when it was dark outside, but there's like the little light that's out on the wall there. Um, I can put my hand out, especially if the moon is out, into the dark, and I can see the like cyan blue and like the purple, bright, 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 right? So it's like gotta be a perfect type of setting for that auric field to like really show.
Yeah.
Well, I started doing that after it was like 3 or probably 4 years ago now. Me, my husband, a bunch of our friends were out just sitting on the back deck on the ground. We're all hanging out, talking, whatever, super nice outside. And I'm sitting like all the way in the back corner, right? And I'm just watching everyone. And I could see at the top of everyone's heads just like little,
Yes.
yes,
Yes.
yeah,
I have seen that before too.
isn't that crazy?
Especially for me, I saw it one day at the courthouse during a proceeding with my husband.
I like that.
It's like, thank you. It's not mine, but I like it too. Um, the the white marble was behind him, and was like, there's nobody else around him, and it's all bright white around him in the background. And especially when I see things that's in my peripheral, like it's not always when I look straight on, but in my peripheral, I'll be able to see some auric things or beings, I guess. It doesn't happen often, but essentially, when I feel like I see someone in my side vision, I am seeing someone. Like I trust that at this point. It's not, you know.
Yeah.
Um, but I've been able to see things that look like wavy heat, like what you see above a fire. particulate moving very fast, but it's static around the outline. So the
Yep.
only reason I can see it is because the outline is staying still. And I'm like, what? That's shaped like a person right there. You know what I mean? Like there's obviously a person. But for years I was told I was crazy. Anyway, um, by my husband. That's why he's my husband. Uh,
Oh no.
so it's okay. I forget where I was going with this, but earlier when we were talking about the ability to see, oh yeah, I could see a blue light around him. I could see a very, very bright, like aqua blue around the outside of him. And I was like, maybe he's not that bad. No.
Maybe.
I was like, what does it mean? Maybe he's good. No, I'm past that now, past the good, bad thing, but that was a while ago. That was a couple years ago. Um, but I did see just yesterday also on Instagram. I don't know who shared it, but it was about these contact lenses that are being developed for people to be able to see in the dark.
Oh yes, I saw that.
Did you?
Yes, I
Okay.
did.
So they're talking about how they work very well for people to be able to see in the dark, but in addition to that, they're able to see beings that are scary and they're dark and they have big glowing eyes and long fingers and one of them
Ah!
like lunged through someone's body and they're like, yeah, they think they're great, but they're going to keep tweaking them until you can't see things that other people can't.
Like,
It's
well, I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
well, you know what? Back to what I was saying, there is no good or bad. It just is.
You know what? I have heard that particular saying so many times over the last few months, and I love hearing it because
But it's
every
like,
time it just reiterates to me like, oh yeah, okay. It
yeah,
just is. It just
yeah, it just is. There are those beings that are not connected to source that feed on our loosh, our emotions, the energy that we produce from our physical bodies connected with our consciousness and heart and all of that
Mhm.
produces a type of energy that they eat for breakfast. And that's just the way it is. That exists.
I have to ask. So, because you said loosh, I'm just curious. Have you read David Icke's books?
I have not.
Oh, okay.
I have not. Is that about, is he big into the reptilians and stuff? Is that who he's, what he does, describing that conspiracy? Like I was just saying,
Yeah.
conspiracy. It's not a conspiracy. It
That's
is.
conspiracy.
It is. It exists. But
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
is he big
No,
on that? I'm not familiar,
he
like I said.
he was one of the first people back in like the 70s or 80s maybe who came on like live television and was telling people like, no, we're in a matrix. And they all like condemned him for it, whatever. And he's written so many books since then. The Trap, The Dream, uh, Everything You Need to Know or something. So many books. My friend Chrissy from Millington.
That's
Um,
my nickname. That's my
oh, it
nickname.
is?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a cute
Yeah.
name.
Thank you.
She got me all of his books for Christmas one year, the first year that we ever met. She's so sweet. And
Oh,
anyways, at the time, I was going through like this huge, like dark night of the soul that lasted like 6 months. And I, like all of, let me just put it this way, Journey of Souls was like my Bible, right? And I was doing the work that I'm doing now. And like I felt like everything was being stripped away from me, my beliefs, my connection, even though, you can never lose your connection. Um,
mhm. But
that's
it feels like it sometimes.
yeah, that's how it felt for sure. I left my business, I was just doing massage, all these things, and Chrissy introduced me to the David Icke books, and in it he talks about Journey of Souls, and it was like taking my whole self and just like turning it inside out and like, okay, well, figure out what to do now.
Yes, I've
And
also had an experience like that. I had a very, very rapid spiritual awakening having to do with being consciously biolocated. So essentially, I experienced my consciousness being taken from my body, put into another timeline, and then I broke that, jumped back into my body, tried to interrogate the person that was with me. He was not the person that I knew. He was, how do I say it, other than possessed? And I don't mean that like it was scary or he was wrong or bad or anything was wrong or bad. I just mean literally he was a vessel. He was not the person that I knew. He was not there. Other people were there within him. It was terrifying. But what better way to see right through the fabric of reality than that? So yeah, after that, I also went through a very deep, dark night of the soul experience, and yeah, uh, but
Yeah.
that's what I like to call the slingshot. That's because when you pull it back, how much farther it goes. Yes.
So I have a question for you. Because we're so similar and let me just throw it out here like this. Um, I had seizures as a kid. They couldn't figure out where it was coming from, why I was having them. I eventually kind of like grew out of it, but I still had petite mal seizures, is what they would call it. But come to find out, it's like you're it felt like an ego death, but I was sober and awake.
Mhm.
Like all of a sudden, I'm super hyper aware of what I'm doing. I'm looking at my hands like I know these are my hands, but they don't feel like me, and having to remind myself, like, okay, you're Amanda Hayes, you're here, this is what you're doing. But I felt like if I didn't coax myself back into staying there,
Mhm. Mhm.
I would just be, my consciousness would not be here anymore. And it's
Uh,
terrifying. So I was wondering, like, if,
yes.
yeah.
I totally hear
Oh,
what you're saying. And
thank,
while you were saying that, I did also see what was the part of you being like, you're Amanda Hayes, come back. You know what I mean? Like it's like that's you here. That was them helping you to come back into that. Um, I saw your higher self coming in and also like a different aspect, like trying to take you. And there is a, I think, so are you part of the secret space program?
I don't like with my bilocated self.
Yeah. Or
I
do you think
see
it's
when
um
I tap into her sometimes she's like at home and it kind of looks like Africa and and then other times she's in a suit and she's like doing things. Like one time she was in the ocean, another time she was in a ship, so
yeah.
I don't know if
That
that's
is
what you meant or not.
that, well, yeah. So there is definitely you're connected to the level of consciousness with the it's you, but it wouldn't exist without your consciousness from here. That's why it's so connected. It's not another life. It's not a past life, which we also know are not in the past. Everything's now. It's a split. A separation that exists from the source that is you. And that's not common. Um, the the experiences that I had for a number of years from the age of 21 to about 23, I had syncope, which is random loss of consciousness.
What?
Yeah, I would just pass out.
Oh, wow.
And I think that was me leaving, going
Yeah.
other places. Yeah, yeah. Um, and I've also recognized our health and the way that our body reacts as not being able to be defined by medical science. Like, I also have a tumor in my brain that's like basically between my brain, my cerebellum. So it's like your brain here and then your cerebellum here, it's between them. So nobody's been able to identify what it is. It hasn't changed in over 10 years. I just recently got an MRI to check on it. It
Wow.
hasn't changed from the work that I'm doing with a guide helping me with the secret space program aspects, which is that for me is why I'm biolocated. It's an implant. It's an energetic implant, but it's also physical. And
Right.
it does have to do with the modulation regulation of my energy transmission capabilities. So essentially, what I was told is it was in order to keep my ability to transmit frequencies dampened down, like a smaller radius. You know what I mean?
Right.
So that's
Is that
fun.
for like your own like sake, you
I
know?
think I think it's because I would affect a much larger area in a greater capacity if it wasn't turned down. So I think we should turn it the fuck up.
So I'm like, that sounds like a good thing.
Yeah, well, I'm not dealing with good people. It's not a good thing. Um, but yeah, it is fascinating. And and I'd also want to say from a grounded perspective, for us to have these understandings of different versions of ourselves, I find it to be incredibly helpful for my mental health and understanding and practice. It's like my version of therapy. And I also go to therapy, and my therapist is in total agreement with me. She's like, you're great. So I don't, it's funny because personally, and I would like to ask you this question because of our similarities, but have you ever had circumstances where people are like, you're just crazy, and like called you crazy and like didn't listen to you and like, you know?
Well, first of all, I did want to say because of our similarities, I don't have a tumor right here, but when they were doing like MRIs and CAT scans when I was having seizures when I was younger, they found that it's like a spindle looking wheel thing of veins that's all bundled up right here in that same spot that you were talking about. So I
Is
just,
it like the mouth of God chakra, like right in the back of your head?
yeah.
Oh boy.
I just, when you said that, I was like, that's really weird. But also, yes, absolutely. Not recently,
Mm.
but now, like I don't really see a whole lot of people unless they're clients, and if they're clients, they're coming to me to talk about all of these things.
Hmm.
But
Hmm.
oh, back in the day with my more relationship type stuff, yes. You're crazy.
Yeah.
I don't even, what are you talking about? Yeah.
The gaslighting and all that. I think that's
Oh,
part of the programming with it too. I mean, I would, if you feel inclined, look up some things on the Secret Space program. Some of it can be very extreme, some of it can be very destabilizing. And it's not that you wouldn't understand it, but it's like what it has generated for me is like, why? Why me? Why am I in this? Why? Why? You know?
no, absolutely. And you know what's crazy? I just remembered a few months ago I was talking with my best friend sister Brandy about an experience that I had had. Um Sometimes like I'll randomly pick up my phone. It doesn't happen very often, but I'll pick up my phone and it will have the wrong date and the wrong time on my phone. And that happened one time back in 2011. In 2011, I picked up my phone and it said December 21st, 2011 at like 2 a.m. or something like that. And I'm like, what the fuck is that? So I was just coming into like learning about all of these different things and I found it super interesting. So I wrote that date down. I keep, that was when I kept like journals and stuff, which I still have all of them.
Hmm.
Um, I, it was like a year or so ago, I went and was looking up, um, oh, I was listening to it like an audiobook or a podcast, and this woman was talking about how, I think it was from Dolores Cannon, she would go and receive messages to like go outside at particular times for like
Oh yeah.
for people from
Downloads.
the space program or whatever to like come and like, oh, you need to be at this meeting at this time. And one of the times she had said was the time that I wrote down that I got on my phone. Swear on everything. And I told Brandy about it, and I'm like sitting here shaking, like, this is crazy. It was forever ago, and obviously I don't think anything came of that, but it was super
Yeah.
interesting.
That is giving me some tingly feelings. So I would say that that's right. That is very interesting, isn't it?
It's very crazy.
I
It's
know it is. I'm looking at the time right now on our call. It's 1:11:23. So I like that.
good.
But I know that you have an appointment to go to. I also have an appointment to go to. We definitely need to talk again. This has been
Absolutely.
such an amazing conversation, and I'm so glad we connected. Thank you so much, Mandy.
Thank you so much, Christine. I really appreciate you. You were so easy to talk to. This was so
Oh,
much fun.
thank you. And we will be talking again. I'll send you another link as soon as we get off of here. I hope you have a wonderful day. Lots of
Thank you.
healing and learning and expanding and surrendering up for you,
Thank
right?
you. I
Yeah.
appreciate you. I hope you have a great rest of your day.
Thank you so much.
Thanks. Bye.
I'd like to thank Mandy truly for showing up in the middle of her recovery, in the middle of life, and still being willing to share your heart and your perspective. I feel like this conversation had so many little spark points, those little moments where something inside you goes, yes, that. I remember that too. And if you're listening and you felt that too, just know you're not alone. Sometimes the medicine of an episode isn't even the words, it's the frequency of what's being witnessed and reflected. Remembering yourself through someone else's language. If you want to connect with Mandy and her work, you can find her at Lemon Sage and Lavender. It's where you can learn more about her offerings, including tarot and aura readings, energy work, soul alignment sessions, and body work. If you'd like to connect with me, I'm at Hyacinth Healing. As always, thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. And thank you for walking this strange, beautiful remembering with us. I'll see you in the next episode.